welcome to Cooking with Andrea. Today we're going to be doing a lovely pork butt shoulder, and I got a good price on this, $1.68. This is 7.5 pounds, and I got it for $13. So $1.68. That's really good for this beautiful pork butt shoulder. I'm going to just flip it this way. Beautiful meat here, very thin piece of fat there, but in a pork butt shoulder, we want the fat. The fat is flavor. So, what I'm showing you tonight is a couple people asked me, well, how do you get this kind of meat? And I said, oh, very easy. I put it in my crock pot. And they're like, what? Crock pot? And I says, yeah, I use a crock pot all the time. And they're like, wow, we've never used one. So this video is for a few of my gals that I know that don't use a crock pot. And I'm going to show them how easy this is because it's almost 5 o'clock in the evening. I'm going to put it on right now and we're going to let it cook. We're early risers in our house, so we'll be up in time for this to cook, or it'll just slightly go off and we'll be up within the hour. So I just want to show you what I'm going to do to it. First of all, my husband introduced me to crock pot liners, which I love, so get one. For 25 years I never used one. Now I have half the mess. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to salt and pepper, or I'm going to salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and parsley everything. Normally I do this in the comfort of my crock pot, so if I make a mess, it's okay. So, but I want you to see how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do the fat side first, and this is what I'm going to do. Just go like that, barely. I'm going to take onion powder, so that's my lemon pepper, and I'm coating this thing very generously. So I'm going to go like that and all over, lots. Garlic powder. I'm going to take this side and do it this way because the holes are smaller on the other side. And then I'm going to flip it and do the other side too. I'm just packing it to the wet so that it stays. And then my parsley. These are the things that I use to season my pork. I season all my pork this way. And then, unless I'm doing something different, like if I'm making maybe a Mexican entree, I'll do it a little bit different. But this is how I do it for everything, from Arby's roast beef or pork sandwiches. I do pork sandwiches. I do all sorts of stuff. This will be for my my barbecue pulled pork. I'll do the same thing. I'm going to take this mess and just push it to the side. Normally you won't have this kind of mess. Like I said, the only reason I have that kind of mess is so I could show everybody that this video, that wants to see this video, really sees how much seasoning you want to put on this. You want to heavily season. Wow, that was hard. Because this is flavor, flavor, flavor. And this is the first and the last time you're going to season. So what you get on here now is what you end up with. This is how your beautiful pork butt's going to taste. Let me tell you, even if you didn't get enough season on it, it's still going to be delicious. And you can season it after the fact. It just won't cook in and be this delicious. Like I said, onion powder, garlic powder, lemon pepper, and parsley. That's what we're doing. So this is going to cook 8-9 hours. I'm going to take this cap off. It's going to cook 8 to 10 hours, anywhere from 8 to 10. And I heavily season my pork and my beef. So I'm just going to go like that. Everything looks good. We're ready. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cooking on high. I am going to cook it on high all night long because, like I said, we're up at different shifts. So we'll be able to check our pork. Our pork will be cooked. Then what we're going to do is, we're not going to do it on camera. We're going to take it as soon as it's done. We're going to take this part of the crock pot out. I'm going to set it on the counter, let it cool for the required time. Then what we'll do is, after it's cool, we're going to take it, fold it over like this, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator. And then tomorrow, I'll be showing you how I'm going to and what I'm going to make with this meal and how many meals we'll get out of it. Okay, you guys have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay, welcome back. Okay, here's our beautiful pork butt. I am going to take it out. We cooked it for 9 hours last night, and then we got up and we went ahead and put it in the fridge and cooled it. And this is what it looks like. Oh my gosh, smells super delicious. So the reason I keep it in its bag is because I want to skim the fat. I'm going to skim this fat. The reason I do it this way is because then you know what you do is you just take the fat off. And then you know that thing I call meat jelly or drippings? Same thing. I just call it jelly because when it's in the crock pot, it looks more like a jelly. But see, one thing cool about this is it separates all the fat. Now look at all this beautiful pork jelly. It's absolutely delicious. All it has is drippings from the meat. Okay, so there's a couple things here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish cleaning this so I don't keep you on camera for a long time. I'm going to take all the beautiful meat jelly, like I call it, or drippings, put it in a bowl and show you what I got, because this is how I make gravy. I add this to broth. I do lots of things. Sometimes I just put some on the meat so it makes the meat nice and delicious and juicy, but pork is pretty juicy. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to portion this beautiful pork butt out, and I'm going to show you what I get. I'm going to take my slicer here. I have a slicer. Believe it or not, the slicer was very inexpensive. It's not a really high-end slicer. I got it at, I don't remember where we got it, but I slice my meats, so I have sliced meat for sliced roast beef sandwiches or pork sandwiches, or sliced pork for pork and mashed potatoes and gravy and green beans. I do all sorts of things. So what I'm going to do is get this all separated like I want. I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you the cuts of meat and how I did them and how many meals I'm going to get for 3 of us. We'll be back. Okay, what I did is I started slicing some pork slices. I'm going to start again. It's going to get noisy for a minute, but I want to show you what it looks like slicing. If you would like to do it a little bit thicker, you can do it thicker. But what I was thinking is I can make my Cubano sandwich, or I can do sliced pork with mashed potatoes, green beans, and gravy. So I'm going to do a couple more slices so you see it. Okay, this is enough pork for us to have a nice dinner. So I've got one set, and I'm going to do the next set. Oh, I just wanted to let you know that I got my slicer off Walmart.com. I had to ask my husband, and it was a very good price. I think we only paid like 68 bucks for it. And so it's really nice to have a slicer in your arsenal if you're going to be cooking and get more into cooking. So I'm going to show you the next step. Now we're on to chunks of pork. So key is letting your pork cool completely. That's why I said this morning we got up, we got it cooled off, and then we got it in the fridge. Look at beautiful little chunks. Let me tell you what these chunks are good for. You know the chipotle bowls they're making? Love chipotle. So I wanted to make my own version because not always can we get there. And you know, eating out's expensive, so we got to save it for a treat when we're tired of my cooking. So I use it in like bowls like that: rice, avocado, tomatoes, olives, black beans, or pinto beans. But that's what I use it for. Also use this cube meat for pasta. Sometimes I'll make a pork pasta, you know, versus like a sirloin tips and noodles. I make a pork, and it comes out really good. So this is what I use this for. And I'm just gonna finish cubing this piece right here and show you. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna shred this piece of my pork, and we'll talk all about that. Okay, I'm shredding. This is awesome. So here's my shredded pork, and I left my bone on because I wanted you guys to be able to see. You don't have to do a fine shred right this minute. You can just do a regular shred. Normally, I shred when I'm going to do just a whole shredded pork. I do it at the time it's hot because it's a little easier to shred then. But I can't have 3 different cuts of meat if I don't cool my meat. So this is what I'm into doing, because my purpose is I want to have as much food that I prepare at home as possible, because that helps me. This getting old stuff is for the birds, so I can't just be eating out. Plus eating out is expensive. But sometimes to come home and try and make a meal like this is almost next to impossible when you work all day, because it takes a long time to cook this. But if I have these, this is 2 meals for me and my husband, 1 meal for me, my husband, and my son. That's definitely a meal or 2, depending if I'm going to just do a pork taco, or if I'm going to do bowls with rice and stuff, or if I'm going to do a pasta. That's a lovely big one for us to have lunches. I'm going to take the rest of this meat here, and I'm going to continue to shred this and make it this. But I just wanted to show you the bone. Look at how nice this comes off the bone. I keep it, by you cooking your meat with your bone, gave it so much flavor, nutrients. It's delicious. So basically, I got all this food here. This is all my pulled pork. This pulled pork will make sandwiches. This will make 2 to 3 dinners, depending on how many are in your household. But I already have like 4 or 5 good dinners, and it's all prepared. And not only that, look at this. I ended up yielding 2 cups of beautiful drippings, or I call it meat jelly because of the textures, why I call it meat jelly. This is absolutely delicious. I'm going to just try it. So delicious. Another thing too is, if you don't want to make gravy out of it, put it on some of your meats. Let this sit with this juice on there. It'll be so incredibly flavored. So we have sliced pork, we have cube pork, and we have barbecue pulled pork for sandwiches, for just quesadillas, anything you can think of. The mind goes there. So if you like this video, if you would please like, share, and subscribe, I'd be so grateful. I thank you all. Thank you to all my subscribers. Have a beautiful, blessed week.